Hello everyone, welcome to PolyCosm Afterthoughts. This is a new video, series of videos we are going to make, where we are going to be talking about a project we just finished, we just wrapped up. And this week it's the Pīramis.
Yes, and we got a stream cam now, so
Yep,
face reveal.
we wanted to test out our camera as well.
Yeah.
And we wanted to sit down and talk about how the project went, what have we learned, what have we struggled with, and how this project, what we learned through this project might help us prepare for the next project.
Which is going to be even bigger, so a bit more ambitious. So
Yeah. So what did you think about the final product then?
personally, I think it looked really good. I really like your overpaint. I feel for my concept, it already felt very solid. Like in my eyes, it kind of felt finished. So I was kind of thinking like, oh, how is Omerjan gonna approach this? Like in the overpaint, like what is he gonna change? What is he gonna add? But you ended up having to actually subtract a lot to kind of balance it out.
I talk about that in the video, in the final one as I'm painting over as well. But I think, I'm quite happy with the final product as well.
I know you weren't feeling too hot on the concept in the beginning of the project.
No, I had a hard time coming up with a good idea, something that I was happy with. But that's just one of those, struggles, one of those obstacles that you run into. Like, it happens, like, we always just kind of have bad days. And just around that time, I was kind of feeling a little bit burnt out by client work and other stuff that was going on. So I found it quite difficult to come up with a good idea, something that I felt, good about. But, with time we got over it. We got through that.
We kind of I think that's the good thing about these kind of projects, because we're two people sitting together kind of brainstorming. So whenever you kind of felt like you didn't have many more ideas to contribute with, or like any more creative ideas, I could kind of swoop in and be like, oh, what if you tried this direction? Like I remember kind of kit bashing your ideas together and kind of coming up with a concept I thought was very cool. And then I gave that to you and you kind of quite liked it and tried developing that further. So that's kind of the good thing about being two people working on these projects together.
Definitely. That's one of the advantages of doing this, where we can just kind of bounce off ideas. I can work on something, pass it on to you, pass it on to me back. And I feel like this time around we both kind of got very comfortable with the workflow.
Yeah. Especially because previously I'd been doing a 30-day sculpting challenge, and I have been sculpting things on my own, and that was the first time I kind of really properly got into sculpting. So I felt super ready to attack this project. I was like, yes, I'm finally ready for this kind of bigger project. So that was really fun, and it did go quite well. A lot of what I learned in the sculpting challenge I could apply to this project, so that was great.
I think we were running into more obstacles when we were working on Jellyfire and Xerocole.
Definitely.
And this time around I think we both were just okay, now we know the lay of the land, now we know how to approach this. So what did you learn? What was your favorite thing? Let's put it that way. What was your favorite thing that you learned through this project?
My favorite thing. Ooh, you're putting me on the spot now.
This is what this is about.
Honestly, maybe probably the texturing bit. It's gonna sound weird, but for this project I really got into the texturing and tried to kind of understand how to texture things. And Jama Jurabaev, am I saying that correctly?
I have no idea. I'm not gonna attempt it. I'm gonna leave you alone.
His new tutorial came out and it kind of explained, there was a little bit about texturing there, and I learned so much from just those two kind of clips. And I was like, oh, let's try to apply this to this new project, and I did, and it kind of opened my eyes. That's the thing, when you approach new projects and you learn new things, it opens your eyes to new things you can do in the future. So kind of for me personally, it makes me super excited, because I'm oh, the next project I can do this and this and this. So I just love kind of consuming tutorials and learning new things. It just What about you? Did you feel like you learned anything from this project?
No, nothing.
Boy.
I think at the beginning, basically when I had those moments of kind of coming up with a good idea, those struggles that I encountered, that definitely taught me a couple of lessons on how to, at times take a break, and you need to just kind of recover and rest up and just kind of let that inspiration kind of fill itself up again in your head. It can be quite draining to do kind of the same thing, like trying to create something and do it like every day and day and day. That can really burn you out, and it really helps to just step back sometimes, just take a day or two off.
What did you do, like, personally, to kind of step out of that space? What did you do, like?
Oh, I just kind of like took like complete time off, just tried to completely separate myself from, thinking about any kind of creative work for a bit, and just kind of focusing on other things, just kind of removing some of that stress, some of that anxiety you end up putting on yourself, where you feel like every day you should be creating something new.
Yeah,
a
and
lot
I
of
know,
people think
especially
that.
For you, because you have such high standards, like you put so much pressure on yourself.
Yeah.
Like, I know you. He does.
But yeah, like you just have to sometimes step back from it, and that might seem to a lot of people like it's counterproductive. Like, I'm supposed to do nothing for a whole day and not just create.
I feel that way. Like, it's
But
so difficult.
in the long run, it's actually a good idea. It's a good idea to schedule that into your schedule. Well, that was kind of a stupid thing to say. Into your routine, and make most of that. Just kind of take that moment to relax and look at some, like, maybe try to learn about something new, but like not necessarily art related, but you just kind of expand your horizons, and all that stuff in the end feeds into your creativity and your imagination.
So how did you feel like seeing the 3D kind of model of your 2D concept then? I don't know for you if
I thought it looked rubbish.
See, this is what I have to deal with all the time.
Oh, it's always exciting to see it, like you draw something and then somebody else goes, okay, I'm gonna create this like as a 3D model or as a sculpt, and then you get to see it in 3D, and you can just kind of move the camera and look at it all from different angles, and then it gets textured and lit, and
especially
you're like,
with the lighting and everything,
Yeah.
and it just kind of, you can turn it around and you can see the light like interact with all the forms. It's just exciting.
It's always exciting to, because when you're doing stuff like concept art, which is supposed to be part of, like pre-production work, to see in the end what you came up with, your idea in its context, whether it was, something you designed for a movie or, for a game, whatever, when you see it in the end in the context that it's meant to be, and it's quite exciting. It's very satisfying.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so that was quite exciting. That's always very exciting. And
are you happy with the end product?
yeah, definitely.
Yeah?
I think the end product came out pretty good. Like, I don't say that too often about like
No, trust me, he does not.
my own work or,
Yeah.
stuff that we do together.
I don't know, does it feel different to you because you're collaborating with someone that it's like you're not as harsh like on the work itself? Like, because I know like when you do your own concepts and you look at the final product, like you're maybe a bit more unhappy with it, but I don't know how you feel like.
I mean, like, if I wasn't happy with the final product, I would tell you.
Yeah.
But
That's a great thing, like we're both very honest people,
Yeah.
so if we don't like something, we will tell each other.
I will tell you. I would be just like, nah, I think we could have done better.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying we couldn't have done better, but I think in this case, we did pretty well.
Yeah,
Like, I
I'm
think
very happy,
I
yeah.
think it came out looking pretty good. It has a very cool atmosphere, like mood to it.
It definitely nailed the initial kind of brief idea we had for it, like it being kind of very otherworldly, kind of Lovecraftian, horror inspired. Like it definitely encapsulates like all of those ideas.
Yeah.
So I think that we
Yeah.
succeeded in that quite well.
Yeah, and yeah, I'm happy with it, and
Yeah.
just I think we finished it and wrapped it up, and I'm perfectly ready to move on to the next thing now.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
This previous week has been a bit different because you kind of approached this new project, this new episode that we're starting a little bit differently because you had this idea and you were really eager to kind of get that like
Yes.
sorted. So
Yes. Yeah.
instead of trying to force good ideas out, you kind of started like with a vague idea you knew you already wanted to do. So you can kind of talk about how
that was just one of those, one of those very rare but precious moments when you really have inspiration that hits you, like something really strikes you and you get excited about it. And for one of our future projects, I had one of those moments, and I like already started working on it and did a fair amount of work. We talked about how to plan things out and how we are going to record and release our videos. So we actually planned this one quite far ahead.
Yeah, this is going to be a even bigger project, honestly. Like,
but it's good. Like, we are both feeling very excited about it.
Yeah, very confident, very excited, and we're going to be tackling it from a bit of a different perspective, because we're going to be doing it with an isometric game in mind.
Don't spoil it.
I'm not going to spoil it, don't worry. But we're going to be tackling the UI. We're also going to be
a little bit
kind of jumping back and forth. So we're going to develop a prop and then a character and then jump back to the prop and so on. So it's going to be a bit back and forth. It's going to be a bit more exciting than just like Pījramis, which was just a bust. So
this is going to be something a bit more comprehensive project, and you're going to be able to see how you can start with a prop, move on to like a whole character, and then trying to come up with proof of concepts to show how this character can be implemented into a game, and how maybe the game, like not necessarily the end product, but kind of create ideas of how this game might look like, how to use your concept art to create visuals like that.
So if we were to kind of pitch it to someone, we'd have some very strong visuals that could like convince that person to invest or to maybe come on board onto the project and so on. So
I think that one is going to be quite interesting and quite fun.
Very, very much looking forward to it.
Yeah. So any final thoughts on our afterthoughts?
No, I just honestly wanted to say thank you guys. Like, if you're watching this, thank you. We reached 500 subscribers this week, which is very exciting. Like, it may not be the highest number, but the fact that 500 people are watching our content,
it's great.
It's really nice. And this is such a nice kind of personal project for us both. Like, we get to kind of take a break from just client work and kind of produce our own projects. Like, it's very fun, and each project is so different, and it's fun like doing something collaborative, because both of us were so used to kind of working on our own. So just being able to work together has been really, really nice.
For sure. It's been great. And thanks again for watching the whole project, following it through with us, and we'll see you again soon.
Bye.
Bye.